brought it to my attention in the board was pulling together to help fund the fire department. I mean, that is an incredible thing that we took a department and we spent $300,000 a year on. Not just a few years ago, we're spending $1.3 million a year on it. So we're accommodating $1 million more out the door on an annual basis each and every year than we did just a few years ago. So the fact that we are in good shape as we are is a testament to everyone who's working on that we were able to do that. Because I frankly did not think it was doable.
Neither did I.
Now, that is a value to our city.
Indeed.
Having the fire department on that full time is a value. That is something, even if it makes taxes go up again, it's still a value to the citizens. You're truly getting something. And I think our whole fleet being new cars all the time is another value, even if that's just a break even. Everybody's talking about we're going to make on it, even if it's just a break even deal. At least on the service side of it, have to service all these vehicles, and if we get stuck with lemons again, that'll be a short-term deal.
Service, fuel, and everything else.
Yeah.
The fire department should help residents with their insurance rates too.
We're gonna look at a regrade through ISO in the next couple of years. They get fussy if you start asking to do it too close together. And it's definitely on the table, something we'll be looking at. I think probably within the next 2 budget cycles, we can look at an ISO regrade.
What are we right now?
We're a 4 right now. Before it has any kind of fire insurance value to anybody in the community, we have to get down to a 2, which means that we have to change our score by 20 points. That's pretty substantial. But it's doable. And I think we can get there. We're going to have 2, a 6-year-old and a brand new fire engine. We're going to have 12 full-time employees. We have an ILA with Fort Worth and all the other cities we have mutual aid agreements with. I fully believe we can get to a 2, and if we get to a 2, what that means is on the fire insurance portion of your homeowner's policy, if your insurance company accepts the PPC rating from ISO, they can get up to a 25% discount on their fire insurance. That's strictly based on who you use for insurance. There's a couple of the big name ones out there that no longer recognize that. But there is value added there. And, Marvin does this every year. He does a great job. I'm going to brag on him for a minute. He really kicks our tails when we do our budget meeting. Those are ugly. My budget, as you see it in front of you, other than some service and maintenance items that are increased, there's one item in there that's a capital item, and it's a lease payment to replace our cardiac heart monitor. Kind of an important piece of equipment. Coming here asking you for that, it's important for me to point out, we've had 3 cardiac arrest saves in this city, and when I say that, people who walked out of the hospital since your full-time fire department started. We can't put a price on that. I want to brag about that, but between police and fire and everybody working on this, we're making a difference in people's lives.
It only takes one of those to make it work.
Absolutely. There is a teacher at the high school right now, I think, would agree with us on that. But, I too share the concerns. I love being part of this town and being part of this city as an employee. I know I'm not here a lot, but I still enjoy being part of it. And I've been a part of it for a while. And, I share the same concerns you do. And when I sit down and look at my budget, and I know that Gordon and Chris do the same thing, we got to change the things we got to change because everybody puts mandates on us, right? The state sends us unfunded mandates. Sometimes it's the county. Sometimes it's the feds. And so those adjustments are going to be there. We gotta keep the trucks on the street. We gotta keep the guys in protective clothing or bulletproof vests or whatever it may be. But those things are not, as Holland said earlier, those things aren't gonna get cheaper. They're gonna get more expensive. And, you know, I don't envy the tough decisions probably out in front of us if we don't find new revenue streams soon, if we don't get some new businesses, some new neighborhoods, things like that in the community to start generating tax dollars. But we're gonna do our best to keep it down every year, but there's only so much we can do. Eventually, we're at a point where we're limiting our serviceability because of the budget restrictions. And Marvin works magic, but I'm worried that his magic bag is getting empty.
It is.
And I just ask you to take that into consideration as you're making your decisions in the weeks ahead about the tax rate. I respect everything Mr. Claridge says. As a homeowner, my property value went up $96,000 this year. My house payment's going up $190 a month. I feel your pain. But I also believe that it is absolutely hypocritical of me to go down and protest my taxes as a government employee. Those guys in North Richland Hills deserve a raise just like my guys in Richland and here do. And the only way they get those is by those property values going up and us raising taxes when we have to keep the service level high. And I suspect if you ask every citizen here, the overwhelming majority will pay whatever it takes to make sure they have police, fire, streets, water, sewer. They're going to pay what they have to pay. And I just hope you guys take all that into consideration. Thanks.
Thank you. What? Yep. Well, the street deal, that's where if we had a bond strictly for the streets, where the citizens would vote on it, I'd 100% agree with that. And I think it would 100% pass. And the same with the needs we're about to have on the water treatment plant. Serious look into what the proposals were the other night. I'm not real fond of the Fort Worth plan, but you got to look at it. You not look at it. And there was some safety issues that even they brought up that I really wish we would look at. I'm not going to mention it now, because I don't think he should have mentioned it. But those situations, the citizens are 100% deciding. I wish we had those two things as a bond. I know we're doing one minor deal on the street, but that money's not going to go very far. And we need 20 million versus, what was that, $1.5 million, Marvin?
No, it's actually altogether about 4.9 we figured today.
Yeah. But you're still going to have some of that for some of those other items. It can't all go to the street.
Well,
It could, but I mean, it's probably where other items, we had to do something there.
we just figured that y'all were gonna do most of it was off of the street.
I would do it. That's all I got. And I'm done.
Any more comments for the work session? We will close the work session at 7:38, and we will move to item number 7, which is action, if any, from the work session. Marvin, do you need a motion to do that, or do you just need me to announce when that public hearing?
I think if we do it as a motion, we don't mind.
Okay.
I made the others do it.
That'll work.
So the motion is to schedule a public hearing.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we schedule a public hearing for the city's fiscal year budget 2022 operational financial budgets to be held on Tuesday, August 31st, 2021 at 7 p.m.
Second. We have a motion and a second to schedule the public hearing on the fiscal year 2022 budgets on Tuesday, August 31st at 7 p.m. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move to member questions, comments, and announcements. John?
No, I'm good.
Steve? Darren?
I last time gave a little update on Vernon. I will say that he got originally out of the hospital and went into, what do you call it? rehabilitation